Hi friends, happy Friday. Welcome back to Math Today. Today for math, from your Envision workbook, you will need page 335 and 336 and page 337 and 338. You will also need a pencil and a red and a blue crayon. So go ahead and pause the video and grab the materials that you need. All right, friends, welcome back. Today, we're going to try and get through our skill practice zippity quick because our lessons are getting a little bit longer. As you're learning new material in math, your brains are thinking at a little bit of a higher level, and so it takes more time for us to get through those lessons. So we're going to zippity quick review our numbers. We'll practice counting forward and backwards and go from there. All right, you ready? Mixing it up again. Here we go. Let's start with a big one. 19, 13, 9, 8, 17, 18, 7, 6, 5, 15, 2, 4, 11, 12, 14, 10, 1, 3, 16, 20. Very good. Now, we're going to do our exercise counting again. All right. So, we're going to count in order from 1 to 30, and then we'll count backwards from 30 all the way to 0. What is this resource called that we use to help us? The number line. I like to leave the number line up here just as a resource, but we won't always have it in our pockets. That's why we have to practice counting so we know our numbers in order. Something to also think about as our numbers get bigger, our numbers inside the group gets bigger. That's what I'm trying to think of. So as we count, our number gets bigger, which means there's more of something. It's not just a number. If I have the number 6 and then I say 7, well, 7 isn't just a number that's on paper or on the board. 7 is actually made up of a group of 7 things, which is more than 6, okay? I know it's a lot to think about, but as we practice, it starts to make more sense. So let's go ahead and let's start counting our first group of 10. Let's do jumping jacks today for 10, and then I'll tell you what the next one is when we get there. Ready? Here we go. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now let's reach for the stars. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now let's touch our toes. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. All right, you ready to count backwards? Let's wiki rewind. Here we go. Let's count backwards. Touch your toes. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. Now let's reach for the stars. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. Now our jumping jacks. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Let's give ourselves a roller coaster cheer. Ready? Click, click, click. Woo, excuse me. Wow, nice job counting. All right, now let's take a look at our learning target for today. It says, I can use patterns to add numbers together. So we're going to talk about what this word patterns means in just a moment, but let's go over adding. So we know that when we add, our groups are put together. We're going to sing our addition song to help us remember what that means. But first, what is this symbol called right here? The addition symbol. What's another word for the addition symbol? Plus sign. What's this guy right here? Equal sign, right? So we're going to use those in our equations today to help us look at putting groups together and doing that, finding patterns. All right, so let's get our hands ready to sing our addition song. We're going to also, at the end, talk about what it means to add with a 0. Ready? Here we go. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3. Adding means putting groups together. Adding means putting groups together. Adding means putting groups together to make them bigger than before. When we add, our number gets bigger, except when we add with 0, then our number stays the same. Okay? So today we're going to add showing different ways to make a number. So that's why I was talking about our 6 and 7 before. There's different ways that we can put groups together to make a number. And today we're going to practice doing that using patterns. The patterns are going to be a strategy we use to figure out different ways that we can put our groups together. So a pattern is something that repeats itself over and over again. Can you say that with me? A pattern repeats itself over, and over again. Good. So we're going to use what we know about our number order as a pattern to help us add, and you'll understand what I mean as we go. Let's start with our first page, our solve and share on page 335. On this page, you will just need your pencil. We won't need our crayon just yet. Our directions say that we're going to use blue and red cubes to make stacks of 2 cubes in all to show how many different ways that we can stack the cubes. Then we're going to write equations to show and describe our stacks, okay? So I am going to show you using those cubes. This is something that you would do in the classroom if you had those materials, but on the other part of our activity sheets, we'll be using our crayons. So right now, all I want you to do is watch, and then we'll make our equations together. All right, let's take a look at our cubes. So it says that there are some blue cubes and some red cubes, but all together there's only 2 at the end, okay? So I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm going to start with blue cubes. If I have 2 blue cubes, 1, 2, and I have 0 red cubes, all together I have how many blue cubes? Just 2, right? I have 2 cubes all together. So on the line, I want you to put 2 to show that we have 2 blue cubes. Then I want you to put a 0 to show that we added 0 red cubes. And now all together there are 2 cubes still. Even though I have 0 red, I still have 2 cubes all together, okay? Let's go to the next one. I'm going to show you another way to make 2 with our cubes, but in a different way. So now I have 1 blue cube and 1 red cube. 1 blue cube and 1 red cube, but I want to know how many I have in all, so I'm going to put them together. Whoop. When I put 1 blue and 1 red together, how many do I have all together? Let's count. 1, 2. Still 2 cubes, but I made it in a different way. This time I did only 1 blue and 1 red. So on the line, with your pencil, I want you to write a 1, add 1 equals 2. So this is another way to make 2. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you a different way to make 2. So I've made 2 using 2 blue. I've made 2 using a blue and a red. Can you think of the last way I'm going to show you? This time I have a 1, 2 red. When I put those together, I have 2 all together. So if I have 0 blue and 2 red, I have how many cubes all together? 2 cubes. So another way to make 2 is having 0 in our first group of blue, 2 in the second group, and all together there are still 2 cubes. So we just made 2 in 3 different ways. 1, 2, 3. I made it with 2 blue cubes and 0 red, 1 blue and 1 red, and 0 blue and 2 red. Do you see our number pattern starting to form? Our numbers are in order. Every time I have a 0, 1, and a 2 here, and a 2, 1, and a 0. So my numbers are in sequence that are helping me add. Okay, it's very confusing, but the patterns start to make sense the more that we practice. So let's flip to the back to our guided practice. It says that we're going to color a way to make 4 and then write an equation to match. So it already did this for us on the bottom with green squares. So we don't need to color. We're just going to mark them out and count how many green there are. 1, 2, 3, 4. So with your pencil, I want you to trace your 4 down and over and down once more. And that's the way to make a 4. Now I don't see any other colors. I just see the green. So when I have 4 add 0, there's 0 other colors, I still have 4 squares all together. That's what your sentence is showing you. 4 add 0 equals 4. Okay? Now, before we move on, I want you to take a look at the top part really quick. It's showing us how you can make 5 using the number patterns that we just talked about. We did this same thing with the number 2 already, but we just didn't have the cubes on our paper like this. So if you notice, we have blue cubes and red cubes. These are all the different ways that you can put groups together to make 5. Let's count how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 different ways to make the number 5. So if you're pretending that your blue cubes are blue lollipops and your red cubes are red lollipops, and your grandma has 5 lollipops to give away, she can break those to you and your brother in different ways. She can give you more and your brother less. She can give your brother less, or your brother more and you less, or she can give you both the same amount of lollipops. Okay? So that's another way to look at it. All right, let's take a look now. We're going to pass page 337 since that's your activity sheet for today. We're going to go to page 338. So we're going to complete each pair of equations to show that we understand the number pattern, okay? So it already gives us a number. We're going to fill in the missing number to find out how many more we need to add to our first group to get to each of these numbers all together. What you're going to notice is they show us 2 different ways to make the same number. So we're going to make 4 2 different ways. We're going to make 5 2 different ways. And down here, we're going to also make 5 2 different ways. And then we have a challenger. All right, so let's look at the first one. Number 6 says 1, 4. So we have 2 circles and a line. We know we're adding. So what symbol do I need to put after my 1? An addition symbol or a plus sign, right? Okay. We also know that this is the answer. This is how many are in all. So we need to put our equal sign right in front of it. So our sentence now says 1 add blank equals 4. I want to get to 4, but I already have a 1. So I need to figure out how many more I add to 1 to get to 4. So if I have 4 fingers and I have 1 group already, I know, how many are left in the other group that I put together with it? 3. 1, 2, 3. So on the next line, I want you to write a 3. So now our sentence says 1 add 3 equals 4. Ooh. Now we're going to start with 3. What do I need to put after the 3 to show I'm adding? My addition symbol. This, you may already know the answer, but we'll come back to it. What do I need to put here to show I'm about to give the answer? The equal sign. So now it says 3 add blank equals 4. Wow. So now I know I still have 4. This time I have 3 in my first group. So let's put down 3 fingers. 1, 2, 3. So if I have 4 cubes, but I have 3 in my first group, how many are in my second group to make 4 in all? 1, 2, 3 is the first group. How many the second group? 1. So on the line, I'm going to write a 1. Look at this pattern. I've made 4 in 2 different ways, but notice they're the same numbers that we're adding. They're just in a different order. This is what we call a turnaround fact. Can you guys say that with me? Turnaround fact. So the first time I had 1 add 3 equals 4 all together. 1, 2, 3, 4. This time, the second time I had 3 add 1. So all we do is flip-flop the order, but I still have 4 altogether. So 1 add 3 equals 4, but also 3 add 1 equals 4. That is called a turnaround fact. Very cool. All right, let's look at the next one. Ready? Let's go ahead and put our symbols in the circle since we know we're adding. So I have 2 add blank equals 5. Okay, I know I have 5 altogether, so show me 5 on your fingers. In the first group, there are 2. So I want you to put down 2 fingers. 1, 2. So if I have 5 altogether and 2 in the first group, how many are in my second group? 3. 1, 2, 3. So this shows me 2 add 3 equals 5 altogether. So let's write a 3 on the second line. Around the tree, around the tree. That's the way to make a 3. So I have 2 add 3 equals 5. Okay, let's go down to the next one. Ooh, I already see a pattern. I'm going to put my addition symbol in my equal sign here. So now I have blank add 2 equals 5. Well, I know if I have 5 and I'm breaking it into 2 groups. One group has 2. We already just learned what the other group has to have in order to get to 5. But let's try it. Let's make it again. So we have 5 all together. I know one of my groups has 2 in it. So let's put down 2 fingers. 1, 2. So if I want to get to 5, and my first group has 2, how many are my second group? 3. 1, 2, 3. So our next sentence starts with the 3 this time. 3 add 2 equals 5. Wow, look at that. So what do we call this? A turnaround fact. Let's make it now. Ready? So I have 2 add 3 equals 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I also can have a turnaround fact, and it's the same amount in all. Now I have 3 add 2 equals 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same amount, no matter the order. That is a number pattern that you just identified. Let's look at the next one, number 8. It says, we're going to write a pair of equations in a pattern that equal 5. So since we started with 1 here and 2 here and 3 here, let's start with 4. So let's write a 4 on the first line. Add blank equals 5. Go ahead and set up your equation. Now, we know that we have 5 all together, right? We want to get to 5. Let's do it this way this time. We're going to start with our number 4. I want to get to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many more do I need to add to 4 to make 5 altogether? I see that I need to add 1 more to make 5. So this shows me 4 add 1 equals 5 altogether. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So on the next line, I'm going to make a 1. Okay. Now, if I have 4 add 1 equals 5, what's my turnaround fact for 4 add 1? 1 add 4, right? The turnaround fact is just flipping the groups. So instead of starting with 4 this time and adding 1 more, this time I'm going to flip-flop it, and I'm going to start with 1 and then add 4. But I still have how many altogether? 5. So we're going to write a 1 on the first line. Okay, 1 add what equals 5? What's our answer here? 4. Good. So we just saw all of the ways to make 5 here. Most all of the ways. There's actually 2 more ways, but that's with the number 0. And we'll work with that more in a different lesson. Great job. So last problem, challenger. We're going to look at number 9. It says, we're going to listen to the story and then solve the equation. If 100 add 200 equals 300, then what does 200 add 100 equal? Ooh, look at that. We have a turnaround fact. All we did was flip-flop our numbers. Do you see that pattern? Just like we did before. So if 100 add 200 equals 300, all we did was switch the order of it. So what is 200 add 100 then? Still 300, right? Because all we did was flip-flop the order that we see the group. Okay? I know our brains are probably a little confused. You guys are doing a great job, though. It's a lot easier to see in person when you're actually able to move things around. So if you have some cereal at home or some of your toys, like some small toys that you play with that you can use to help you put the groups together to see, that would really, really help your brains understand it, okay? All right, last little bit. Let's flip back to page 337. This is where you're going to use your blue and red crayons. So you are going to use the boxes to color and show different ways to make how many there are all together. So let's start out by counting our first row of boxes, just with our fingers. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 boxes. There's actually 4 boxes in each row of every problem. What you're going to do is show the different ways to make 4. So let's start. I'll do the first one together with you. Let's start with our blue crayon. We're going to color 1 blue box. When we color, we want to color nice and neatly. So I like to frame my shape, which means I outline it with the same lines. And then I'm going to choose one direction to color it. I'm going to choose up and down. So I have 1 blue square. I'm going to put my blue crayon down, and on the first line, I'm going to write a 1 to show my first group I have 1. Then I'm going to put my addition symbol to show I'm going to add some more squares to that 1, but this time I'm going to add a different color. So now I have 1, 2, 3, oh, and that's it. So now I'm going to put my red crayon down, and on the next line I'm going to write a 3 equals. Okay, so now I have 1 blue, add 3 more. All together I have how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. So in order to get to 4, if I have 1 blue, I had to add 3 more to get there, right? Okay, I'm going to help you set up the rest of your problems so you can do them on your own. When you do the rest of your problems, pay attention to your pattern, okay? It's going to help. So I want you to circle your 2 blue to show you're going to color 2 of your boxes here blue. The rest of them you'll color red and show how many more you added to your 2 blue to get to 4. Okay, here I want you to circle your blank line blue because, ooh, you're going to have to start with your red here, right? It says blank blue. We don't know how many blue. We have to add to 3 red to get to our number 4 all together. Okay? And then at the bottom, what you're going to do, I'm going to have you write your first number, the number 4. So you're going to start now with 4 blue. Write your 4 and then circle it blue so you know what color to color your squares here. It seems very tricky, but I know that you guys can do it. Do the best you can. So the numbers that we circled right here are all going to be your blue squares. In fact, why don't we circle your 1 blue so that helps you know. You have 1 blue. The rest of these are red. You can even circle those red to help you know that those are the ones that you color red. Okay? All right. Keep up the great work, friends. I know you're going to do a great job using your number patterns to show the different ways to make 4. There was a lot of language and talking in that, some math language that we didn't know before, but we will keep practicing and getting better, and I know you guys are going to be rock stars. Keep up the great work, and I'll see you next week for your next math lesson.